I'm deep in the heart of New York City's Chinatown on a quaint little stretch called Doyers Street. Over the years, Doyers Street has gone by many names like the Bloody Angle, Murder Alley, and the most violent street in America. But with its vast history, is Doyers Street actually haunted? Well, I'm here to find out. For InsideEdition.com, I'm Sal Bono, and this is New York Gritty.
Doyers Street is this very small street known for this very crooked angle that it has. It's surrounded by mostly 19th century tenements with businesses around the way. But because of that angle, it's one of the most unusual streets in New York City and has a lot of urban legends surrounding it.
On a typical day, tourists and locals walk through Doyers Street looking for dim sum at the Namwa Tea Parlor, which has been around since the 1920s. But many of those visitors have no idea about the history under their feet.
The first Chinese immigrants first came to this neighborhood around 1850, 1860, and were really entrenched in this neighborhood by about the 1890s. And they brought with them a lot of different kind of customs that you couldn't find anywhere else in New York or in most of the United States, actually. As a result of this, because of the food, because of the opium dens, just because of some of the more exotic customs, this neighborhood also became a bohemian destination. People from other quarters of the city, like from Greenwich Village, going down there to maybe have an evening in Chinatown. And by this point, Chinatown had so many different legends associated with it that people just sort of made an evening of it.
While many came to have a good time, this one particular street in the neighborhood seemed to attract something more sinister.
It earned this nickname, the Bloody Angle, because of a spate of violence that happened here from the late 19th century into the 20th century because of gang warfare. One of the big appealing, attractive aspects, if you were a gang member, is that if you were having some kind of a battle or conflict here, underneath Doyers are actually a series of tunnels, and there were many ways to actually access those tunnels here in the late 19th century.
Many lives were lost on this street, raising the question, do their spirits remain here today? It could be a scene out of the new CBS drama, Evil.
A haunting?
Well, the theory is that the demon takes over the house, and then it takes over the person.
Evil investigates hauntings from a scientific and religious perspective.
I work for the Catholic Church.
So you're a priest?
No, an assessor.
My colleague Ben and I investigate unexplained phenomena.
To do our own investigation, I enlisted the help of the Gotham Paranormal Research Society.
When you have such a violent history and a violent past, they could just be stuck in time, and it just replays over and over again like a video recorder. It's the residual energy, because energy really can't be destroyed. It can be transferred, but it has nowhere to go.
Doyers Street has got a very grim past, and allegedly it's haunted. How are we going to be able to determine if that urban legend exists, that it is haunted? Like, what are the ways that we can...
Well, normally when we do investigate, we'd be in a more confined private area and location. As you can see, this is very open, a lot of noise contamination, a lot of people around. Our equipment that we use is very sensitive to electromagnetic fields and audio. So getting something in an environment like this is virtually impossible, but we'll try.
All right, gang, so we made it just below the surface of the street. We're in a little confined quarter here. So how are we gonna go about doing what it is that you do?
We can start with some questioning, and that's usually what we do. We'll question the client and get a background history on the location. For this particular location, we're underground. Supposedly there are bodies buried under the ground. Hasn't been confirmed, could be urban legend. So is anybody here with us today? Anybody that wishes to speak to us or come forward with a message of any kind? We have some devices here that will light up if you touch them. We do understand this is a site of many gangland murders here in the city. If you were one of those victims that's here and you see us and you can hear us, can you touch any of this equipment? It could be why we're not getting responses too, because we're not asking questions. in their language.
So now I'm going to ask, I'm going to put it in Google Translate, and it's going to translate to traditional Chinese, which is, are there any spirits here with us?
我们这里有精神吗?
So we're playing a little traditional Chinese music. This may.
They come forward. Anything?
Could be the cell phone.
Oh, the K2 meter was.
The K2 meter.
Oh yeah, the K2 meter is going off a little bit.
That could be sound.
It could be. If this is the side of your. That was interesting. If this is the site of your burial, could you please light up the lights? That's going off very oddly too.
Yeah.
I see a very skeptical look on both of your faces.
Yeah, that's a hard call to make. Number
Okay.
one, the cell phone.
Right.
Number two, it didn't go off the way it normally does go off. So you take that both ways. Could it be something? Maybe, but the fact that we don't have anything else, I would be very skeptical to say.
Whether or not actual spirits still inhabit Doyers Street, its haunting mystery is still very much alive.
Are you feeling anything? Do you
Right here,
sense anything?
I don't sense anything here. Usually with us doing it so long, we can feel if an area is heavy, it has that specific heaviness. I personally don't feel anything. I don't know if you guys do.
No.
I think that Doyers Street is actually one of the most haunted seeming places and has a very mysterious vibe to it, partially because almost all of the architecture, nothing has changed really in like several decades. Everything feels as if this is how it looked 100 years ago. So there feels like a visitation from the past a little bit.
It's been a couple weeks since our filming on Doyers Street. The Gotham Paranormal Research Society sent us back audio that they recorded in the field with instruments that help pick up sounds that are too sensitive to the human ear. They concluded we've received some sort of residual response and that we may have picked up something from the afterlife. Let's listen to a couple clips. One of them is when we use Google Translate,
我们这里有精神吗?
and the other is when we use music of the era. Let's take a listen.
Are there any spirits here with us?
我们这里有精神吗?
At the end of the Translate clip, there may be a voice. Underneath the music, it sounds like a person is humming. Our experts said further tests are needed in order to determine how haunted the street actually is.